Okay, so our first presentation today. Our first presenter is Derryl Dion. Derryl has been a research analyst and MFIRS manager for the Massachusetts Department of Fire Services since 2001. In 2015, he became the president of the National Fire Information Council. He teaches the MFIRS classes at the Massachusetts Firefighting Academy and is also an instructor at for the MFIRS program management class at the National Fire Academy. Mr. Dion has been a firefighter EMT in Holden, Massachusetts since 1999. A challenge with lithium-ion fires is getting a true understanding of the scope and scale of this problem. The only way we're going to gain an understanding is with clear and accurate data. Derryl will explain how MFIRS will allow us to capture this data and get a deeper insight into the lithium-ion battery problem in Massachusetts. I'll give you a mic.
Okay. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen. Usually I'm the last person that presents, but today I guess I'm the first one. So it's just like when you take a class, you always want to be the first person to present to set the mark. Documenting and coding lithium-ion battery fires. Excuse me. Like the marshal said, MFIRS and MFIRS, I'm going to use them interchangeably because they're the same exact thing, doesn't document battery fires well. The system was based on 1990s tech, and it just had batteries. And back then, rechargeable batteries was still something relatively new. So as you can see, in MFIRS alone, we already see a spike around 2020 and 2021. Okay, we don't know what kind of batteries those are. Those could be regular car batteries. Those could have been the older rechargeable type batteries. But with the spike here in 2021 and 2022, and so far in 2023, we're assuming that they're lithium-ion batteries, but we can only assume. So as you can see, the trend is just going up. Now, for structure fires, it's the same trend. Okay, you can see a spike here in 2021, 2022. I'm going to show you some FDNY data that I got from their marshal's office that will show the same exact spike, but a lot more detail. Okay, it doesn't allow us to track this new fire problem. MFIRS version 5, what we're using now, is antiquated. It needs to be updated, and the U.S. Fire Administrator is taking care of that. But we cannot add enough codes to accurately track the problem. We can track by adding a +1 code on the battery to say lithium-ion battery fire. Okay, but to do that, that's all the information will give us. Everything else has to be put in a narrative, and we don't have the technology even at the federal level for the system to read the narratives and track data in there. This is most likely underreported. We need to distinguish between equipment and the battery, which started the fire. We just had a fire in Cambridge the other day, which I heard on the way coming in, was an e-bike. They were charging it, and that's what caused the fire in Cambridge. So, we're going to get to it, like Marshal David said, there's going to be something at the end of the presentation where we're going to share with you to collect a lot more data to be able to prove the problem. Okay. This is data I received from FDNY Supervisory Fire Marshal John Coleman that he shared with us. It's going to be less than what the FDNY hazmat chief has, because they go to every fire involving lithium-ion batteries. This is only the fires that the marshals are called to investigate. But as you can see here, 2019, 30, 2020, 44, spike in 2021 coming out of COVID. 2022, 220, 2023 so far as of mid-September, it's already up to 200. And this is just the batteries, the fires that they're called to investigate, not the ones that they know right off the top of the head. It's an e-bike fire on the side of the road, that type of thing. Also here we can see 149, okay, but it's mostly the mobility devices, the e-bikes, the electric scooters. It could also be a Razor scooter. We actually had a fire recently, I believe it was down in Falmouth, where they had a kid's Razor scooter that started the fire. Okay, that's considered a mobility device, even though it's technically a toy. It's considered a mobility device. We also could see here, the occupancies. It's mostly residential, or right outside the residence. Okay, so These are very dangerous. We have the majority of our fire deaths and fatal fires are in residences. Luckily, so far to date, we haven't had a fatal fire in Massachusetts caused by lithium-ion battery, but that's, it's going to come eventually. We want to track this and try to get, the regulations in place to be able to handle it. So, MFIRS and MFIRS. USFA, about 3 or 4 years ago, put something out about e-cigarettes or vape fires, on air level, that sort of thing, and about charging them. So they specifically put it off for e-cigarette fires. But the main thing is the lithium-ion battery in the e-cigarettes or the vapor. So what we're trying to do is we're going to adapt that to all other lithium-ion battery fires. And they also have something for electric hybrid fires, vehicle fires, that we'll get into after the e-cigarette fires. Okay, so when you have basically a lithium-ion battery fire, it doesn't have to be e-cigarette, it can be anything that's not a vehicle. You want to code your heat source as 12, radiated or conducted heat from operating equipment. This will be made available online, so you don't have to take notes right now. Item first ignited should be whatever the battery is contacted with that starts the fire, that actually starts the fire going. Your factors contributing to ignition, either if it fails during charging, 50, operational deficiency, and if it fails at any other time, design, manufacturing, installation deficiency, other. There are no, we hate using other codes in MFIRS for data analysis, but there's nothing there specifically, so I want you to use the other codes. Equipment involved ignition, 229 battery. You could all add a 229 and +1 code underneath that, like 229.1 to be lithium-ion battery. Equipment power source would be 12, batteries and low voltage. Your portability is going to be portable. And then what they want you to do, always put everything in the narrative if it's something special. In this case, we're trying to track lithium-ion batteries. So put lithium-ion battery in the narrative and please spell it out correctly. So, because they are trying to get software to be able to read these, so we can go back at the federal level and be able to read it, but if you don't spell it correctly, it's going to skip over it. Okay, this is just a screen print to show you about the, I made up something, but it was in the bedroom because we will know that a lot of these bikes are getting charged in the bedroom, but it also might be your cell phone, it might be your laptop. Your heat source, radiated conducted heat, opposed to so for a chair because it was somebody just put on the chair, and then what the chair was made out of. Then we get to the cause of ignition. 3, failure of equipment and heat source. Either one or both, and then how you capture the battery information. Once again, you don't have to memorize this. This is going to be put on the web later. Okay, so that's just a piece of equipment or the battery itself. If you get a hybrid fire or electric vehicle fire, it's a 130 series. Okay, like I said, even that little kid's Razor scooter, as long as it was not in the building, it becomes a mobile property fire. So these are just definitions I got right off of the MFIRS Graham's website. But you got your fully electric Tesla Model SY, Chevy Bolt, or a hybrid vehicle. Okay, don't forget, hybrid vehicles can include bicycles, motorcycles, cars, trucks, or boats. So any mobile property fire and any vehicle fire if it happens outside of a building. Okay, the mobile property section is used to identify the motor vehicle. Please use the mobile property field to okay, it's a type code 131. It's a passenger vehicle fire. Mobile property involved 3, involved ignition of bird. It's a passenger car. Tesla was 2000, so there is no make code for Tesla and some of the other total electric brands. So what you want to use is other, and then mobile property, you put the model of the car, and if you're using other, also put the make, and then you electric. So as an example, involved ignition of bird, passenger car, other make, Tesla Model S, electric, and then the other information as required. MFIRS has a problem where you cannot put mobile property fields, complete them, and also complete the equipment field. So if it's a mobile property file, you have to complete these fields. You can't put down that it was a battery because you can't use the equipment field. It's a quirk in the system that goes all the way back to the beginning. They've never fixed it. So if you think it was the battery, especially if it's electric or hybrid car, put that in the narrative. We're going to see more charging stations in the home in the coming years. California is going to have a big problem with these in about 5 years when the new law goes into effect. But if it's attached to a building or inside of a building, or outside at a hotel, or any other mall or something like that, we're going to call it as outside equipment fire. Equipment involved is going to be the battery charger, which that's what this is. It's going to be, and then the model and number. Once again, you're going to have to add this information in. Please try to spell it out. Have your investigators spell out everything. Try not to shorten it. Note that the charge is for electric or hybrid motor vehicles in the remarks narrative section. And here's just an example. Okay, so now we know that's basic information. We really can't get to the root of the problem about lithium-ion batteries. So what we did is we decided to come up with a separate way to document this information. And we took the template, for those of you who remember the old fire standard compliant cigarette fire checklist. We rolled that out about 10, 12 years ago to try to catch those fires. So we used that as a template, and we created a checklist for lithium-ion battery fires. It's a fillable form. You complete one for each incident. Okay. It's addition to the standard MFIRS report. This is voluntary. This isn't mandated. But for those of you, who are really into this, we would like you to submit these forms. Okay. If you want to, you could also go back to like the Cambridge fire, the New Bedford fire. If you had fires earlier this year and you want to complete these forms and send it to us, we'll do it. What we're going to do is we're going to take all the information off these forms. We're going to start a separate little database, and we're going to be able to track these and have more information available for everybody to make better decisions. And it's going to ask for basic information, the type of equipment the battery was powering, the equipment brand, make, and model, and also information on the battery itself, the brand and the size, and where was it purchased, if you can get that information. If you can't get it, we understand. So here's a copy. Here's what the form's going to look like. This is going to be fillable. You just put, you can just check off the date, the time, your FDID number, the incident number, the address or location of the fire, and then you check off one of these, the equipment. So if it was separate, if it was in a piece of equipment, not separate in the charger. If it was in a charger, right here, and then if the battery was charging, so that being charged, they get overcharged, they go into that thermal, excuse me, I forgot the word, but it sets it off. So you can check that off. If it's not one of these right here, you check off other and put the information here. If you can get the battery information from right here, okay, answer these questions, information, and then who's completing this form. There are 2 buttons down here that you can check. One, it will automatically save this form and send it to us in an email. It gets sent to the MFIRS department division. Okay, another one, if you don't want to do that, you could actually just print out the form. It'll print it out. You keep a copy for yourself, and then you fax it over to us or you snail mail it to us. All the incidents will be tracked, and it will be made available to anyone who needs it.
Thank you.
Thank you.